Okay, here we go. I just got done weighing this fish. Weighed 5 3/4. I'm not very good at this, but that's the fish anyway. Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross England here with Clear Lake Guide Service and your Clear Lake report for the last week of August. I believe today's date's August 27th. I know that when I'm on track and doing things normally, it would have been a Thursday report, but this is what you're going to get. So here's one thing that's going on that's very current. Those of you that fish up here on a regular basis know what those little beauties are. I'm telling you today, it was massive. The hatch that was going on, not just in one place, but a couple of different places. Boy, I tell you what, those little bugs, when they leave that little tar speck, it's like, oh boy. I've been lucky that for whatever reason with this boat, I don't know whether it's the wax or the paint or, you know, the fact that it's aluminum, they're a lot easier to get off than they are my old glass boat. But anyway, big bug hatches in a couple of different areas. So let's see, let's start out with lake level. Lake level is roughly, we'll round it off, call it 3 1/4. And it was at 340 and change with our last report. So figure it's going to come down another 1/4 foot, which is pretty much what's been happening each week, is about a 1/4 foot of drop. Water temperature, as you all know, we had some cooler weather that came through and hung around for a little while. I was much surprised when I got out this week and found out that the morning water temperature at the county park and in Lakeport had dropped to 72 and change, high 71 for the morning. And then as the day went on, today I think we found some, about 2:30 in the afternoon, we found some 77-degree water temperature. For the most part, what I saw up until today running around was between 72 and 74 degrees. The water color really on the upper end, meaning from the narrows up, it really looked pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's very clear. I saw maybe a couple of areas that I saw maybe 1.5 foot of clarity. And for the most part, everywhere else that we were lucky to see 1 foot. Although, like I said, the water just didn't look that bad. It just, there's, you know, quite a few areas where there's suspended algae. But overall, and I got down as far as gooseneck. Now down in that area, there's some algae floating on the surface, but none of it was bad. None of it was, you know, at least that I saw. None of it nasty, none of it balling up your reels, none of it, you know, painting your boat green. There was a few thick spots, but not very many. So overall, I'm going to say that the water quality still looks pretty good. Now, obviously I didn't get around the whole body of the lake. I'm sure down in the very extreme part of the Redbud Arm and in the very extreme part of the Clear Lake Oaks, you know, down by the Keys, depending on how the wind's been blowing, it's packed in there and it's probably pretty heavy, but overall it looked pretty good. While I'm on the subject, I can't remember if I talked about it last report or not, but in talking to the ramp monitors in Lakeport specifically for 5th and 3rd Street, they're really urging people to be careful backing in because of how slick the ramp is. So if you can pay attention, and if with your rig you can back your boat in the water or back your trailer in the water without putting your rear tires in the water, it would be a good idea. It would also probably be a good idea from past experience to maybe use four-wheel drive high. And for whatever reason, I really don't recommend under these circumstances you putting your parking brake on. Just leave it in park. Just seems to be easier. I haven't personally had any problems this week other than climbing off the front end of the boat trailer, and I slipped and almost busted my tuchus just trying to walk across, you know, the very edge of the water. It's those launch ramps, even though they're deeply grooved, they're slicker than snot. So be very careful with them. Let's see, clarity, lake level, water temps. You know, that's about it as far as the conditions are concerned. Fishing pressure is light. You know, I'm seeing, like today I saw 3 trailers, I think, at 5th Street. The other day I saw 2 or 3 at the county park. To the best of my knowledge, there's nothing going on this coming weekend other than it being Labor Day weekend, which should be the last big blast of the year. That may entail a fly-in out at the Skylark this weekend. So I saw 2 different float planes zipping around the lake today. One of them actually landed out in front of the Skylark, and you know, the little launch ramp road that's right to the north of the building itself. He actually putted himself right up out of the lake and up onto the road that's there. So that was kind of interesting to watch. Fishing. So anyway, the following weekend, the Bob's Marine Tournament is scheduled. I have not seen anything confirming that it's still going on. I haven't seen anything confirming that it's not going on. So I just know a permit is pulled for that weekend. If it happens, don't be afraid to jump in that tournament. That's a fun tournament. There's low pressure and just, you know, it's just a fun time. So good luck with that, whichever way they go. Fishing wise, you know, I think the drop in the water temperature got these fish moving around. For the first time in a long time, I'll say that the fishing is pretty good. Not necessarily for numbers. I think I had a 12 fish and a 9 fish day as far as keepers are concerned. We had 4 fish over 5 pounds during that time frame, and I'm hearing a couple of reports of some 30-pound limits and definitely some 25-pound limits. So all those fish that we talked about this past spring that were in pretty good shape, and we thought, man, there's a lot, you know, we're not seeing good numbers of fish, but we're seeing some 4 to 6 pound fish that are just in really beautiful shape. Well, those are 5-pounders now, I guess. Most of our fish came from, we'll call it 8 to 15 feet of water. We caught a few above the Narrows. Most of them were down below the Narrows, specifically in the Redbud Arm. So I got to rate the fishing as not bad at all. And that was, you know, the only disappointing part was I just couldn't get any topwater fish. I tried monkeying around with a frog a little bit, and I tried my tried and true popper. And the only reaction bait fish I caught in 2 days was a fish on an LV. So it was a nice fish, but that was the only one. So that's about it. Beginning of this video and the end of this video are 2 different fish that I caught the other day. So just to prove that they're there. So we will talk to you next time whenever we see you. Have a good, safe weekend, and we'll be back. Well, this isn't the same fish as before. This is a second one. It's 5 1/4. Man, numbers aren't very good, but the size sure is.